This is the biggest story unfolding before their eyes.
Of a UFO battle in orbit around Earth.
I believe that's 428.
Hey guys, also remember to subscribe to my other channel, GTA Stories. Now, you might remember the story about the supposed Chinese air balloons that busted into the mainstream media overnight, which caused a huge media storm about supposable Chinese surveillance balloons over the Canadian airspace. The balloon was sighted on January 28th as it was supposedly sighted over Alaska, according to the US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. Oh, well, we better believe every word he says because you know the US Defense Force always tells the truth. Now, does this remind you of anything else? You'd really think by now they would think of some other methods for cover-ups, but nope, they revert right back to the old shoot down of a mystery balloon. How creative. And isn't it funny about the new age of propaganda and the totalitarian government in place that controls the stream of information that suits their agenda? Isn't it funny when you type in the search bar Chinese air balloon, it comes up with their version of events which are completely false. And then later it was edited to say that there was one Chinese balloon, but then the other object was unidentified. Does something sound a bit sus to you here? Why are they chopping and changing it as well? In my opinion, I think Chinese air balloons are probably out of date for intelligence use by at least 50 years. So I don't think someone as technologically developed as China's intelligence agencies would be using old-fashioned balloons to collect intelligence from the American airspace. On top of that, I think all three objects that were sighted over Yukon were UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. And I think this was a large-scale cover-up with collusion with the mainstream media who's owned by the same interests that run the military-industrial complex, the energy corporations mixed in with all the other major powers that also fund these crash retrieval and experimentation on UAP programs behind the shadows of the American intelligence service in contract organizations away from the American Congress control. So yes, I do think Chinese air balloons are the new swamp gas. And Arrow is the new Project Blue Book to ridicule UFO sightings and shut them down as quickly as possible in cognizance with the mainstream legacy media. Now here's the truth about the supposed Chinese balloon shoot-downs that the mainstream media is scrambling to do everything to hide, because there's been released files from a FOIA request showing the real objects that were shot down over the ocean. And let me tell you, they look nothing like a balloon, and they're nowhere near the size of the supposed balloons. It looks like a boomerang-shaped craft that's been sighted before in history, and it moves like a UAP.
We can now show you an exclusive image of that unidentified object shot down over Yukon last year. So here it is. That's the image. This grainy picture comes from an email printout obtained by CTV News. This object was shot down by a U.S. fighter jet last February when concerns over suspected spy balloons from China, everyone was talking about it around the world, made international headlines. So this image was actually cleared to be made public shortly after the object was shot down, but then it was held back. Why? The Department of National Defense thought it may cause more confusion. What is it?
Yeah, exactly. What is it? Well, it's definitely not a Chinese spy balloon, that's for sure. Oh, how good. The Department of Defense were just concerned. They weren't worried at all that we were going to see that extraterrestrials are flying amongst us with impunity. They must be concerned for us for the last 80 years because they've been covering up UFO sightings since then. Now, to finish off this incredible factual story about an event that really did happen and that was covered up, obviously, by the mainstream media in collusion with the Department of Defense and private sector corporations. Here's a video of a very similar looking UFO that was recorded over Korea. The similarities of this craft and the photoed Yukon UFO is so similar that these two UAPs are probably from the same origin or the same intelligence that is surveying us. As you know, and as Lou Elizondo says, there are hundreds of thousands of videos in HD of UAPs that are hidden and classified from the public that will never be released. But this here is rock hard evidence of an unidentified intelligence flying in our airspace. What more do you need? And then what makes it more obvious is the heavy cover-up of mainstream media through the Chinese air balloon cover-up, which we've seen time and time again, like swamp gas back in the early 1960s. I hope you enjoyed this video of me exposing the truth. If you're interested in more, check out my Instagram, Aussie UFO News, and please share this video far and wide. Check out my other channel as well, GTA Stories. See you next time.